Dear Diary, life at home was peaceful, quiet and friendly. A lot like as we thought Britain was, but little did we know what Britain was really like. As the Windrush came along, everyone was aboard. We all wore our best clothes, ready to see the Queen. Golden pavements and lovely jobs. We arrived in Britain, but it wasn't what we expected.
Dear Diary, I'm Grace Armstrong and I'm 35 years old. One day I woke up and decided that I wanted a new change of work. I've always had dreams of being rich and having a good job. So I'll just take it into a lot of consideration, and I remembered the poster I saw outside. I went out and brought it back into the kitchen. After doing a lot of research, I found out Windrush was the sort of job for me. I thought it was all rich and pleasant, however when I got there, my lungs filled up with smoke, the food was awful, it just wasn't the right shit for me.
What were your opinions on Britain when you arrived?
It was okay, some people were pleasant, some people were awful. I wouldn't trust everyone I saw. What was the food like on the Windrush?
The food was very plain as we had to bring spice over. What were your opinions on the Queen?
She's quite powerful, she ruled the country quite good. I think there could be a better one though. What are your opinions on the rooms there?
The rooms were very cramped as we had to live with a large majority of people. What were your opinions on the ship when it arrived on shore?
It looked awful. I thought I was at the wrong place. I was at the right place, but it was like I'd entered a war site. What were your opinions on the people who were serving everything you had?
The people were quite rude, treated us like different people. How was the journey over to Britain?
Pretty rough, could have been a bit easier, and saw a large majority of different people on the way. If you had the chance, would you book the Windrush again?
No. How about you?
No, not at all.
Hello, my name is Felicity Wall. I moved to England to pursue my dream of being a doctor. My life used to be so simple, but now it's chaotic and rushed. As I stepped off the boat, I was surrounded by a crowd of people, confused and trying to figure out where they were going. I didn't really know how I was feeling. Not sad, I was scared. Not even nervous. I just felt wrong. I was starting a new life without my baby boy, my poor son. I had to leave him, and he went on his own, a different ship, different time, and a different day. I wonder, and I still wonder to this day, what my life might bring.
What emotions were you feeling when you were on it?
I was feeling really scared, but I just didn't really know what to feel because I didn't have anyone with me.
Did you know where your son was going?
No, he went on a completely different ship.
Were you worried about leaving your friends behind?
I was, but I knew they were going as well, but obviously I was all separated from them.
It was the 22nd of June when I arrived in England. I was scared because I had to adapt to a new life and I loved the life I was in before. It was hard for me to leave and I'm 53 because I lived in my hometown for all my life. Before I arrived I was a nurse and I loved my job and I was taken away from it. I remember having to board the ship and signing all the papers to get to England. I came to Britain accompanied by no one, not even friends. And in 1948 it was a time of race, so I was worried I'd have no one to defend me. I remember the address they sent me to, I think it was 50 Westbourne Park Villas in London, and it was tiny flats with a few other people, and the low-paid job, and which I couldn't even provide myself with.
So the 2nd of June was when I arrived to England. I came from Trinidad accompanied by my husband, who was going to adapting a new life. When we arrived to England, we were told to go to the destination of the W1 Colonial Office, London. I was not used to the change and disliked when people looked at me. I was given a low-paid job and was unable to pay for daily essentials that me and my husband needed.
So what was the food like when you first came?
When I first came, it was mainly just fish and chips and like cinnamon rolls and stuff like that.
Did you like how you lived?
It was a bit racist and it got lonely at some point when my husband wasn't at home, but it was alright.
Did you like the job you were in or?
Well, it was low pay and it was a big difference compared to the job that I had back in Trinidad. So how would you compare being in Jamaica as living in England?
Well, Jamaica was a lot more friendly than it was in Britain, so I didn't really like it, and I had so many friends back there, so
Did you manage to make any friends, or did you
Well, the people I lived with, I was quite close with since I didn't really have anybody else.
Afternoon.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Oh yeah, just 2 coffees, please.
Do you mind if I ask you about your experiences in England?
No, not at all. What do you want me to tell you?
What have your experiences been like from then to now?
Then it was much worse. I'm pretty sure it was the 22nd of June, 1948, when I'd come over from Jamaica to work. They had promised us an amazing place. I thought I'd be doing a job, maybe like a doctor or a teacher, but it really wasn't the case. Instead, I was stuck cleaning toilets, washing and drying clothes, and having people even spit on me sometimes. It doesn't even compare to what the houses were like. Obviously they were cheap because I wasn't making nearly enough money. So I had leaky ceilings, no kitchen or bathroom. We were lucky to have a sink sometimes. And I was also sharing a room with 5 or 6 other people usually. What about you? How have your experiences been like?
Well, I didn't really know anything different from the Caribbean. And then when I came over, I thought this would be a great place. But when we came off, I just saw loads of signs of the no Irish dogs or colour. Now I didn't really know what that meant, but a week later I realised that I was the colour. It hurt me a bit because it was just like you promised us that we'd be equal and free and have good jobs and live a nice lifestyle, but we couldn't because you kept us down and we weren't allowed to go where we wanted or do what we wanted.
I'm sure some of the stuff that said to you was just awful, along with thousands of other people's mental health being completely struck down by it. And what you mentioned with the no dogs, no colour or no Irish was really confusing to me at first as well. I was thinking things, am I colour? Am I seen as a dog? Lashed out at any minute? It angered me, confused me. I wanted to leave so badly, but I knew that I couldn't. I had to stay and fight for my family. I'm sure you felt the exact same way.
Yeah, I thought that everything was going to be fine after a week because I thought we would just settle in. Obviously, missing the home comforts of being with your family and things like that. But it wasn't. It was just like straight to work and buying the house, and you have to pay for coming here. And the thing is, we weren't being paid much. So what happened was we ended up just paying our taxes and paying what we need to live on. And we didn't really have much left over to save or take back to the Caribbean or get a ship ticket.
Yeah, well, it seems like I must be going now, but really grateful and glad to meet you, and it was amazing to hear your stories.
It was nice to hear your story too. Bye then.